Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Shem Yahushua, Shem Rakah. And once again, of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and therefore deserve double honors. Salutations also go out to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways pushing the truth across four corners of this earth. All right, while we're while we have time, all right, trying to wake up the remaining hopefully elect because the prophecies dictate. All right, and we also see the signs, all right, both here in the world and, the celestial signs, the signs in the heavens. Hey, hey, this Edomite, his rulership is coming to an end. And you know it's bad when you got people like this cat here, Larry Elder, all right, a staunch conservative, Jake, one of them types. But because of what Obama did last week when coming out and talking to specifically Jake / so-called black men like they were children, all right, as if that wasn't going to somehow hurt Kamala Imhoff's chances. And I keep stressing that because his hair is shit. That's clearly, and a lot of Jakes still to this day don't pick up on that, the fact that it doesn't take much in this day and age to pull one over on Jake, despite their so-called education. It's sad, it really is. And this is why I'm on this topic, because here it is, a former president of the United States, someone that, sadly enough, a lot of our people worshipped, that's sad in and of itself, decides to, and by the way, he's not our people, never has been. But that goes over our people's heads too. Again, all this knowledge and wisdom is out here on the street corners every week, sometimes more than once a week. Countless videos for you to peruse and soak up all that knowledge that's being put out there for free. But yet, as that scripture says about the poor man's wisdom being despised, because we don't have that mega church and driving Rolls Royces, other exotic cars, and because that's where our people, their heads at, aside from being up their ass. But at the end of the day, this is why you can't feel sorry for Jake. You just can't. All right, this is why this is being done. This is the how am I going to say this? You got to appreciate what the Most High is doing here, because he's giving you ample opportunity, all right, for salvation. Repentance, of course, it starts with. But a lot of you, that goes because of these churches that have been set up by our enemy for the express purpose of keeping you fat, dumb, and stupid. And unfortunately, generation after generation and generation. And in fact, let me get this, because this is what, unfortunately, a lot of our people fall victim to. And it goes deeper than Stockholm. That's why I always use this. Because this is generation after generation after generation. There's something called colonial mentality or mindset. Same thing. And sometimes let's just go straight to colonial mentality is an internalized ethnic, linguistic, or cultural inferiority complex. This is Jake, because everything's been stripped from us. And we go into Jeremiah 17:4. Of course, This is ultimately the Most High behind this, all right, stripping everything from us because of what? Disobedience, all right, or cultural inferiority complex imposed on peoples as a result of colonization. For example, being invaded and conquered by another nation state and gaslit, all right, constantly. That's what's going on, Jake. Constantly gaslit, in case you didn't know what that is. Manipulating someone into questioning their own perception of reality. And that's a constant with this whole system, from everything where you talk about your programming. All this is designed to keep Jake, all right, from realizing and coming to grips with who you truly are. All right, you're not African, you're not Egyptian, you're not Kemetic, in other words, or none of that other bullshit. You are Israelites. Often through the educational system, into linguistic imperialism and cultural assimilation. Look at all the stories, not only what they did to the Southern Kingdom, but look at what they did to the North Kingdom here in America with the boarding schools. All the things they did to keep Gad from speaking their language, retaining their cultural identity. All these things. That's what this is talking about. It says, in cultural assimilation through an instilled belief that the language and culture of the colonizer, i.e. the so-called white man, the Edomite, are superior to their own heritage, languages, and cultures. And this is what he wants to keep going. This system that he set up in the educational, and religion plays a big part of that. As we can see with Jake, it really is sad and pitiful. All right. The term has been used by post-colonial scholars to discuss the transgenerational, and that's important. Transgenerational trauma is the psychological and physiological effects that the trauma experienced by people has on subsequent generations in that group. That's why I like to use this colonial mindset, because it goes deep and it describes what, in the scriptures. It says everything was stripped from us, even the Most High's name. All right, and it allowed for what? Made it easier for this devil to install his shit. All right, and there's a reason behind that, because when we had it all, when we knew who we were, we fucked up still. So it got so bad, captivity after captivity after captivity after captivity after it kept going, doing the same fucking pattern. So the Most High said, you know what? I'm going to even take my name, because calling out his name and all those captivities, you know what? But you kept fucking up and fucking up. Oh, I said we. All right. So finally, you know what? I'm going to even take my name. And now, when you in these churches talking about some Jesus Christ and God and everything else. And when we come and tell you that that's not it, and because of who we are, we're not the oppressor, we're not someone that you identify as God or the people of God. And that's why those rats over there in our land were able to get away with what they being us for so long. But now that's coming to an end. And because what prophecy said would happen, we're out there on the highways and byways. We've got those signs, as it says in the Ezekiel 37th chapter, all right, posting up who's who as far as the tribes. That's prophecy. That's prophecy. Who else is doing that? For those of you in these churches, who else is doing that? It ain't them folks over there, because according to them, which is contrary to the scriptures, they say they've always known who they are or were. No. Jeremiah 17:4. In fact, let me get it. It says otherwise. See, if you're paying attention, you can catch them in their lies. And you use the scriptures. And this is Jeremiah. Let's see. Whoops. Sorry about that. Jeremiah 17. All right. And what's the heading? It says the sin of Judah. And we'll skip down to the point. All right. It says, and thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage. What is a heritage, people? Strong's H4480. All right. Let's go to the dictionaries online and look up heritage. All right. Let's see. Heritage. All right. Let's see. There we go. I don't know why I had to do that. Heritage, as a noun, property that is or can be inherited, an inheritance. Okay, something that is passed down from preceding generations, a tradition. The status acquired by a person through birth, a birthright. That's what we were discontinued from. Not knowing who the hell we were. They told us we were running around in the jungles butt-ass naked and that we were lower than, human. All this shit, of course, to elevate themselves. All right. The psychological damage that has been done to our people because of these lies. All right. A birthright, the status is number 7. The status acquired by birth, especially of, but not exclusive to, the firstborn. That which is inherited as an accident. God dang it. Sorry about that. That which is inherited or passes from heir to heir. Inheritance. And ultimately, that's number 2, a possession. The Israelites, as the Most High's chosen people, also a flock under pastoral charge. All right, and a flock under pastoral charge. Who's a shepherd? With us, the ultimate shepherd is Yahweh Shah. Is it not? A possession. The Israelites, not Israelis. See, they play these games again. And this is why what Teddy Roosevelt had said, that knowing the scriptures, all right, it's better than any education that this man can give you. All right, when you're blessed by the Holy Spirit, and this is only to Israelites because it goes into 1 Corinthians 12 chapter. Let's get that real quick. The gifts of the Spirit. All right. And that's only to Israelites. Now, you will have some that the Most High will bestow on occasion to heathens. Take the story of Balaam, all right, with the Moabite king in Numbers 22 through 24th chapter. When he wanted to curse Israel. All right. He was a heathen, but the Most High dealt with him. This is spiritual gifts. It says, now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I will not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles. All right. And this is one of these chapters, this particular verse that crushes that, everybody on earth can be a spiritual Israelite. No, it says, ye know that ye were Gentiles. And furthermore, this explains why, and this is Paul here, what he actually was set up to do. Because we were scattered amongst the heathen in every nation. So Paul had to go to different nations to address his kinsmen. That's answered in Romans 9th chapter. All right, his brethren. All right, his ethnos, his people. You know that ye were Gentiles. In other words, you adopted the traditions of the heathen nations, like what we're studying now in the Maccabees with the Greeks, which is, being Hellenized. It's funny because in that's why you have Greek instead of Hellen, because when you look at Hellen, it tells you that it is a Greek-speaking Israelite. Now, I'm trying to get into the habit of not saying Jew because what these devils have done using that word. You know, it's one of those, you just substitute Israelite, all right? Ye know that ye were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. That's what it's telling you. Wherefore I give you to understand that no man speaking by the Spirit of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua calleth Yahushua accursed, and that no man can say that Yahushua is the Lord but by the Holy Spirit. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit, and there are differences of administrations. There are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. And there are diversities, all right, of operations, but it's the same power which worketh all in all. And that's why, you know, you're not supposed to get jealous or envious of the next brother because you have a talent, he has another talent. There may be someone that has same talent as you, but to a different degree. But hey, you're all brethren. It says, but the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another the gifts of healing by the same Spirit, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. All right? And that Acts 2nd chapter gets everybody, just about, especially these Christians. And all that other shit. That's not what it's talking about. All right? To another interpretation of tongues, different languages. But all these worketh that one and the self same Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will. And it goes into one body with many members, and it breaks it down further. All right? So let's get back to the video here. And, you know, this is sad that someone like this has to come to it. But it lets you know that another part of this, I'm going to play another video. See, they had a backup plan. So let's go.
Larry, we can't figure out what he's trying to say. He's trying to gaslight grocery shoppers in the checkout line, and that it's that. So Tim Walz is making that blunder on top of Obama scolding black male voters, saying you're sexist if you don't vote for Kamala Harris. What is going on now?
What's going on is the polls are coming in and they're realizing that they may very well lose this election. About grocery prices, at least, Liz, they've gone from talking about gouging to now saying, I guess the grocery clerks that are putting the prices there are somehow putting the wrong prices and they're misleading you. Regarding Obama, I think it's pretty cheeky. Obama said the brothers are the problem, meaning the black men who are increasingly voting for Donald Trump. I guess he has that conversation, Liz, with the brothers in Martha's Vineyard when he hangs out at the barbershop and talks about what's going on in the real world.
All right, so
this is a guy who grew up in Hawaii.
Yeah,
his father got an economics degree. His father got an econ degree from Harvard. His mother had a PhD, raised by his upper middle class white grandparents in Hawaii, and he's lecturing the brothers on how they got to think about life. 20% higher grocery store prices between now and 2.5 years ago. The question is real simple: are you better off now than you were 2.5 or 3 years ago? And the answer is not, unless you're an illegal alien. You're not.
I mean, yeah, we hear you. I mean, food and housing are driving CPI numbers to come in hotter recently than expected for September. I mean, wholesale producer price numbers, we got to just hit the economic trend here. They fell just only 1/10 of a point in September. So when you see Kamala Harris talking like this, Larry, we want to get your reaction on, again, she's asked how she's going to fix inflation. Watch her answer here. Listen to this.
And your point, listen, I know prices are too high still. Again, you've heard my story. I come from the working class. And then some, corporation, and it's very few of them that do this, but then jack up prices. So that's why I'm taking on, for example, price gouging, which is when, most companies and corporations are good, but for those bad ones, they take advantage of people.
Okay, here's the thing. So, I mean, Larry, I can't make the. It's like trying to follow a gnat in a windstorm. You can't follow the train of thought. Let me back up. So she's saying there's price gouging. Then she says few companies are doing it. Then Tim Walz is claiming grocery stores are false somehow. The New York Federal Reserve Bank, the San Francisco Fed already debunked this, saying there's little proof groceries and companies are price gouging. They're blaming it on higher operating costs for things like worker wages and commodities. I mean, food manufacturing costs I think they're up more than 28% since 2020. And that's kept the grocery profit margins down to a razor-thin one.
Yeah, that's it, because they fucked up so much. All right, so these people that own these businesses, they got to adjust. All right, because the economy is fuck, and the dollar is going to shit. All right, so and then she comes up with price gouging. I mean, and of course a lot of Jake ain't gonna pick up on this because all they're concerned about is hanging out on the corners and stupid shit.
0.6. Now, Larry, I didn't mean to hit all that nerdy data there, but when you look at the facts, Larry, it's like Obama rhetoric, right? Obama smearing, just coming out there with no facts, no policy fixes. He claimed that Trump inherited his good economy when Trump inherited a 1.6%, 9% GDP growth from Obama. So, when you see like the bloviating political flannel rhetoric and the facts, Larry, how do black voters take it? How do black voters on the street take it?
Well, the same way any voter takes it, they feel insulted. They can see what the prices are. Kamala Harris has no plan. She said that she couldn't think of any major issue or even minor issue where she disagreed with Joe Biden. And if you're part of the 2/3 of Americans who believe we're on the wrong track, and you hear the leader who put us on the wrong track say that I wouldn't do anything any differently, what makes you think the person who put you on the wrong track is going to put you on the right track? And at least, I guess she's downgraded now. She used to say, well, I'm from the middle class. Now she says from the working class. Next thing you know, she's going to say she was from the ghetto on food stamps. So she keeps moving the goalposts.
Okay, you got to laugh out of me, Larry Elder. And for that, we want you to come back soon. That was good stuff, Larry Elder. It's good to see you tonight. Thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend.
It's my pleasure, Liz. You know where to find me.
Okay.
If you're not making
Go to this one.
is upticking it.
All right, because here's the thing. Let me get this scripture here. These politicians will say and do anything because they're really looking at you. Let's see, I started 18. As if you're fucking stupid. And unfortunately, to a degree, a lot of our people, unfortunately, that is true. This is 1 Peter 2 and 18. It says, servants, be subject to your masters with all fear. Wait a minute. Do I have the right one? Nope. 2 Peter. Oops. Oh, what am I doing? There we go. All right. Good thing I caught it. And this is your politicians. It says, for when they speak great swelling words of vanity. And that's it. All right. When we get that vanity. All right. Let's see. Moral depravity. All right. And that's what they're giving you, making false promises and shit like that. They allure through the lust of the flesh, promising all these things. All right. And unfortunately, a lot of Jake fall for this. But they did that back in the days, even with Edomites. For a lot of you that don't know, this individual from Louisiana back in the day, during the Great Depression, former governor and senator of Louisiana, Huey P. Long, what did he do? He said, promise a chicken in every pot, shit like that, Of course, that with the times then, it appealed to people, and of course, he ran afoul of the Warburgs and shit like that, and they ended up taking him out. John Goodman played a role, good. It's called Kingfish, if you want to look up the movie. I think that was back in the early 90s, something like that. I don't know, it's been a long time. He says, when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness. those that were clean escape from them who live in error. His point. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For those of you to think that, these politicians, even on up to the president, that they actually run shit. No, they don't. They're servants to, you got to understand, from the time of the Rothschilds, who really exist for you people that constantly want to, that's conspiracy theory, you idiots. All right. What did the Moses Amschel Bauer say? What was his statement? He said, give me control of a nation's money. I'm paraphrasing. He says, and I care not who makes the laws. And it's true. I control the purse strings. You have to come to me. You have to bend or even break those laws according to what I want. It's so simple. All right. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. And that's your politicians. That's these people out here making these, at the end of the day, empty promises, because they've got strings on them.
Well, the Biden administration is trying something, maybe a Hail Mary to try to help out Kamala Harris in the end, because you know good and well that she is struggling with a lot of black people, for sure, definitely black men. So the Biden administration is upticking its new citizens due to efforts to reduce a backlog of citizenship applications that began during the Trump administration and exploded amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, immigration officials said the timing is not driven by the election or any political agenda. Well, if it truly wasn't driven by the election or any political agenda, why did you say that? Why would you say it? Because it looks funny style. Y'all could have did this a year ago. Y'all could have did this 2 years ago, right? Why all of a sudden, right before the election, this is what y'all trying to do, right? No. We all know exactly what you're trying.
Why? Because they just knew that they could count on you niggers, all right, to just blindly go out there and vote for these pieces of shit, which you have done generation after generation after generation. So here's their contingency plan.
To do. You are using immigrants to try to win an election because you got to legalize them in order to vote. So how you legalize them? Give them citizenship. Now, they continue to say that the Department of Homeland Security does not take actions based on electoral politics or upcoming elections, period. Spokesperson Nareed Kundat said that she added that the agency has endeavored to process naturalization petitions within 6 months for decades. As a former President Trump is saying his Republican allies have long repeated baseless claims that Democrats are admitting immigrants into the U.S. for political gain and allowing them to vote unlawfully. They said the issue even made its way into the government spending bill. They say this month when House Speaker...
And something to consider here. They gave our people all this flack about now having ID to vote. You remember all this shit years past? Voter ID, registration, and all this, and yet you got people coming from a different country. Now, while all this is going on, you understand that the Ukrainians and all these Europeans, and just sliding on in, people not paying attention to that, of course. Hey, just making sure you aware of that.
Mike Johnson tried to unsuccessfully to insert a GOP proposal to require states to obtain proof of U.S. citizenship when people register to vote. Well, let's talk about that. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? I don't take an issue with that. I don't take an issue with voter ID because we use our ID several places. You go to the hospital to ask for an ID. You fly on the airplane to ask for an ID. You go to the club, the lounge, or wherever, where you want to drink something, they ask for an ID. When you register your children for school, they ask for an ID. You know what I'm saying? We can go on and on and on to many, many places people ask for an ID, right? But when it comes to voting or even registering by citizenship or whatever, that's a problem. That is a problem. No, the fact is, you make what the Republicans say true when you trying to block voter ID and things like that, right? We all know this current Democrat Party does not believe in being fair. They believe in doing everything they can to win elections because they cannot win it just on fair and square in their policies, because their policies is not 100% popular with everybody. It's really not. The Democrats had almost 4 years now in office to show how much better they were than.
They just knew for certainty that these dumb Negroes. All right, that's why when he mentioned at the beginning about you had all this time to do this a year ago, 2 years ago, but now at the last moment, and it's out of desperation. All right, because you realize Jake, I'm talking about Southern Kingdom, ain't going for this shit no more. They're tired, especially with the men. And not only that, to really make it bad, a lot of the women, because you know the women that voting bloc there, as far as so-called black women, oh man, they. But as it turned out, a lot of the women are saying, you know what? We see what the men doing. No, this is some bullshit.
The previous administration, the Trump administration. Now you come into the fourth quarter of their administration. Vice President Kamala Harris is trying to get in, but remember, she's already in office. All that talk about day one, your day one started January 21, 2021. That was your day one. You're in there now. And President Biden has said that you are a part of everything that he ever done. You was there. He tied you to everything with his administration. So with that being said, you're responsible for the economy and everything else, Vice President Harris. So they're trying to register people, say, hey, look, we get you hurry up and register now, vote Democrat. You think they won't tell them that? And these people go do it. Hey, these people got me a citizenship. Man, the least I can do is go vote Democrat, right? That's what they'll go do. But we see how it is. But let me tell you what, they can't naturalize enough of them. Okay, they can't before this election. So that's not nothing we should really worry about too much as citizens. I'll just tell the citizens that register to vote, or make sure you register and get and participate and vote for whoever you want to vote for. Really, but you know we are vote against blue no matter who over here. So that's that. But yeah, you know the Biden administration, Biden Harris, they gonna try because you know they can't they worried that they're not gonna win just based off of their policies alone.
And one of the things he talks about, and we here, you know, we don't, you know, fuck this voting shit. None of it's going to be beneficial to us, all right, because we almost out of this joint. Fuck this, you know, this is same old, you know, lie, being constant prisoners of false hope, all right, fuck this place. But the thing is, Jake doesn't understand. This is like Ecclesiastes 1:9 says, there's no new thing under the sun. This has been going on with all our captivities, you know, and as my last video, I brought out scriptures, Lamentations, you know, the same applies here. You know, those lovers, our people keep seeking for help from people that hate and despise us, which is all the nations. Just this last couple of weeks with the incident that happened with the Moabites, the so-called Chinese, when they jumped on board last year and they managed to get affirmative action overturned, and now they're filing suit because they thought we, as the white supremacists, had told them that we were the problem as to why they couldn't get into these prestigious schools. Yeah, so now our status as far as being admitted hasn't changed, but theirs has, because it has dropped. So now, I mean, oh man, this is beautiful. This is a beautiful time to be alive. You know, Sirach or Ecclesiastes 25:7, because we're seeing the downfall of this piece of shit. our oppressor, the so-called white man. All right, and he knows it. And the threats. I'm not going to speak on that, but for obvious reasons. But this is very serious times we're coming into. All right. So all this playing video games, and unfortunately, a lot of Jake, and this is going into Jacob's trouble, and you can clearly see it shaping up again if you're paying attention to these signs that I mentioned at the forefront. All right. Because prophecy will be fulfilled. All right. You don't have to agree. It's going to be done. Isaiah 55, all right, 8 through 11. Most High's word does not come back void. It will accomplish what it was set out to accomplish, all right, for you mere mortals, all right. So with that, once again, I hope who have reviewed this video is, edified, has been edified. That's what we do here, all right. Explain everything, filter it through the scriptures. All right. Once again, I'd like to remind you of the power of prayer and fasting. All right. We're coming up on another high holy day, which is next month. All right. And in the meantime, we're, into Maccabees now. So with that, until the next video, shalom.